This is LA's first.
Live from Los Angeles, welcome to the Dr. Erin Show. We're all about manifestation, transformation, and breakthroughs. It's time to claim your birthright of prosperity, vitality, and love. So grab your tea or coffee because together we're awakening the world. May you live your truth. Today, I'm going to break on down the 7 things I did that kept me broke as a coach. So let's do this thing. Welcome to the Dr. Erin Show. We come together to know the truth, live on spiritual principle, and align with universal law. We truly know that when somebody awakens, they have a gift and message to bring to the world, and together, we're awakening the world. So I'm Dr. Erin, Doctor of Divinity and founder of New Thought Global and Soulciety. I'm an international best-selling author and the 2020 winner of the Walden Wisdom Award next to Oprah Winfrey. I'm the creator of E4 Trauma Method. And mostly I am somebody who's absolutely obsessed with consciousness and helping people just like you be able to turn their love for spirituality into a career. Because I truly believe that we're here to bring wisdom to the world. So even if you're somebody who doesn't want to make it into a business, I truly believe that when you awaken, you naturally become a leader. So it doesn't even matter if you want to make it into a coaching business or into becoming an entrepreneur. We're leaders and leaders lead. So it doesn't matter if it has, business attached or not. When you really do all this work, you can't help but be the difference that you want to see in the world. So let's break this on down. On this podcast, I am committed really truly to helping you have the best coaching tips, spiritual advice, trauma healing, universal law lessons. We really are about transformation, breakthroughs, and quantum leaps. So let's do this, you guys, because there's nothing harder than witnessing people that I love in the industry that have done a lot of inner work, but really are not monetizing. They're not being able to actually make their hobby and their love for spirituality into a career as a coach. And even as a doctor of divinity, I still consider myself a coach because let's just face it, that's what we're doing for a lot of our clients, right? We're bringing in divinity, we're bringing in universal law, we're bringing in subconscious reprogram, we're bringing in E4 trauma method, we're bringing in all that. But bottom line, people come to us because they want to have different results in their life. They want different results. And so as somebody who was a coach who wasn't getting the results for my life, I really wanted to break it down for you guys. Some of the core things I was doing to keep myself broke as a coach. So 7 things that kept me broke as a coach. Number 1 was hobby coaching. I remember so well saying I was a coach even when I didn't have a client. So, pretending and lying to myself, basically, that I was a coach when I wasn't a coach yet. And I think it's real. We have to get radically real with ourselves to get real that if you're not making money, it's a hobby, and that's fine if you want to keep it a hobby, but it was keeping me broke because I was staying in the delusion of pretending that I was getting results when I wasn't getting the results that I actually really wanted for myself. And we always say we are our own first clients. And if we can't get results for ourselves, how can we expect to get results for others, right? So I was hobby coaching. And I remember feeling really it was like a secret, a shame inside, right? I may have had a client or I was doing some pro bonos, but really and truly for years, I wasn't making money. Let's just face the fact. And it was really tearing me down inside. And I would call it hobby coaching, right? And that's fine, but let's get real. Let's get results for ourselves and for our clients in that. Second, big thing I was doing that was keeping me broke as a coach is I was doing what was called the 80%. There's a rule out there in the world, which is called the 80-20 rule. And generally 20% of what we do in life actually gets us results. And 80% of it is just noise and we're shuffling papers around, right? So I call this 80% coaching, right? It's like I'm 80% in a relationship or I'm 80% in on my career. You're either 100% committed or you're not. So I call it the 80% coaching, which is I would do things like I would scroll through social media for hours every day, only to find myself getting more and more, down, sad and depressed and feeling like, what am I doing? Right. I would stay busy all week long with 0 results. I would stay busy all day long, doing all kinds of things, staying really busy, but not actually getting results. And we see this a lot. I see it a lot with people that are going, oh, I'm going to start a podcast, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, but they're not actually getting results for their clients. They're not actually doing the work, which is getting the results, doing the deep spiritual work, doing the deep E4 trauma method work, doing that and serving for yourself or for your clients. That's the real work. Okay. So I would do all the other things that weren't getting results. Same in business. I would do all the things like posting on social media all day, but not actually having a call to action, not actually taking them into a value sequence, not actually completing cycles, right? I'd say busy creating things from Canva or, whatever it may be. Back in the day, it wasn't that, right? Creating things all day long, but not actually getting results. So it's called 80% coaching. Next is one of the big things I would do is I call it preaching coaching, right? I went through a big phase of this where I got really into consciousness. I got really into the spiritual work, but actually all it did was it made me like basically analyze, judge, and evaluate life. So I was giving everyone advice and analyzing all my friends and family, not realizing that the only way I was ever going to be considered a leader or a powerful coach was to be the embodiment of it. Right? So there's nothing worse than a preaching coach that is telling everybody, giving everybody advice, analyzing everybody, evaluating everybody, but not actually embodying the work. A powerful coach doesn't need to evaluate. We actually don't want to stay in our logical mind. We want to get into the deep processes. We want to live on spiritual principle. We want to direct our mind towards what we do want instead of what we don't want. We hold everybody for the divinity that they are and the perfection of where they are, accepting people, life, and places and circumstances exactly as they are, and then getting committed to what we're actually creating for ourselves and helping our clients get clear for themselves and birthing their own truth, right? So a preaching coach is, different than obviously a preaching, minister, someone who's really speaking truth. That's awesome. But no one wants to be preached to. People want stories. They want results. They want to actually know what you've been through and what other people have been through and what's possible. They don't want to get preached to. No one wants to be preached to. So the fourth thing I did, which I call coupon coaching, and I did this for a long time, let me tell you. And this is, I would attend every free training all the time. I would take free courses. I would get more information. I would binge YouTubes. I would watch other people's content. I would do anything that was free, but I would not actually invest in my consciousness. And this is a principle that is a tough principle to learn, which is if we want high paying clients, we need to be willing to pay for high level coaching. I'll say that again. This is universal law. If we want high paying clients, we need to be willing to pay for high level coaching. And so this was my huge breakthrough. It was like I was trying to save money in order to one day be able to make money, right? Like it makes no sense whatsoever. This is universal law. This is the same principle for everything. If you want love, you have to give love. You can't wait for love, right? It doesn't work that way. You have to be willing to give it without any attachment to where it goes to be able to receive love, because you have to be the embodiment. Same with money. You can't look to get money. You have to give value to be able to receive and have the reflection of the universe. Same with energy. We can't just want high vibration without giving energy to the body, without giving and expanding all that, right? Knowing perfect health all points in time, because we're not the body, right? So all that. So I would coupon coach, right? I would go to all the free events, see how much information I get, try and, do all that, and never actually invest. If you want prosperity, you've got to be prosperous. If you want abundance, you've got to live abundantly. If you want to have high paying clients, you've got to be willing to pay for that receiving, for that currency, for that exchange, for all that, right? The fifth thing I did, I call it the informational coach. This is a cycle I lived in for years, which is, so I essentially collected all the information, or try to piece together a bunch of information together. And I would try and think that if I just there's got to be one piece of content out there that I'm just missing. Like I was looking for some secret out there of the information, right? And the truth is, you can never have enough of information. Nobody wants information. They need transformation. And this is the big problem with the informational coach of who I live for years and years, is I tried to get more information when really and truly it came down to one thing, which is the transformation of being totally committed. without having all the how, why, and all the information. We say giving up the how. We release all the how. That's called outlining, because nobody has all the answers. Not one person that's successful knew all the answers. They had to dive in the deep end. They had to swim. They had to flail a little. They had to pivot. They had to grow and learn every single step of the way. And we call it also, I call this like a video game. I use this analogy a lot. My friend had a friend who he went to a event with, a seminar, if you will, years back. And he had gone with two friends. And 2 years later, he ran into the same, or one of the guys he went to the conference with. And he said, "What's up, dude? How are you?" And he goes, "Oh, I'm awesome. I made $7 million this year." And he's like, "What? How in the world did you make $7 million this year?" He goes, "Remember that conference we went to, 2 years ago?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Well, I implemented everything that they said in that conference." He goes, "Dude, I went to the conference too, and I'm not making $7 million. He goes, "No, I implemented everything." So there's a concept that in a video game, you go up 20 steps in a video game. At some point in time, you hit and you go to a whole new level of the video game. Well, the same is true in entrepreneurship and in coaching, right? Basically, we're trying things, we're failing at some things, we're pivoting, we're growing, we're learning lessons. Sometimes we take a quantum leap, all that, but at the end of 20 bold actions, generally, you go to a quantum level, you go to a new level. You hit some walls along the way, you do everything. But at some level, when you take that much action and you learn along the way, you're going to take a quantum leap. You're going to get to the next level of that video game. So the same thing is true. Being an informational coach, if you just are waiting and you're trying to just take in all this information, then you're never going to actually be able to implement and actually learn. You can't learn to drive a car without driving the car, right? You could watch it all day long in a book, but if you don't actually get behind the driver's seat, whether it be in a parking lot with your parents when you're 16 or whether it be whatever, you can't learn to drive without driving. So it's the same thing. I was an informational coach taking in all this information, hoping that one day I'd have all the understanding of how to coach. You can't coach without coaching. And that's why even in, say, our, coach certification program, we actually, you learn how to coach back and forth and you get testimonials, right? In our self-coaching spiritual warrior program, you learn how to self-coach, you learn how to do all that. So you need to get in and learn how to actually coach. So the next one, number 6, is I call it the fearful coach. And the fearful coach is basically, I would sabotage myself from actually getting clients because I thought, well, what would I do if I actually got a client? I didn't even have a powerful enough framework to get radical results for my clients. So at a subconscious level, I was afraid to actually get clients, paying clients, right? Because what would I actually do with them? And we see this over and over in our community, that people will come in and they go, "Oh, well, I don't want to actually get certified in the work. I have my own stuff. I've done a Reiki course here, and I've done some, crystal here and over here, and I, do some other work." But then when we get down to it, they don't actually have a framework. So you either have to get, part of building your own framework is you go in, you test, even whether it's even on pro bonos, you do whatever it is to come up with that framework. You test out and get results for yourself or for your clients and build your framework. Or you can actually come in and get certified and know a proven framework that actually gets radical results through the E4 trauma method, through all the truth triangle, through universal law, through all the steps that we teach with this very specific and a profound framework, right? So you've got to do one or the other. And so for me, the fearful coach, number 6, I was sabotaging getting clients because I didn't actually have a framework. So you've got to actually get in and do self-processing, go in and do work at a gradient level and build that framework. And what we see people do is they'll build a course when they haven't actually worked one-on-one with clients, and they build a course that actually doesn't get results or people don't want. And so you've got to get in and actually do the work. Okay. And then number 7 is what I call justifying coach. And this is always funny when I hear this, right? They go, "No, I have a couple clients. I'm good. It's not really about the money for me anyway. And I'm all good, and I used to have a couple clients and I'd be like, "Oh, I'm good. I don't really actually need to, get profound results. I don't need to actually have a abundant life." Right. And I'd be like, "Oh, well, and I don't like sales. So I'm not going to take that course and I'm not going to get that mentor because you know what, it'll naturally happen. Whenever it's supposed to happen, it's going to happen." This was sabotaging. This is what kept me broke. And let's face it, if we are literally claiming our birthright of prosperity, if we're knowing the truth and we're actually embodying the truth, then prosperity is our birthright. The truth is, I was a justifying coach, lying to myself. And when I realized that it wasn't about me, it wasn't about necessarily I needed more per se, because I'd be happy with little amounts. Even though I'd become a self-made billionaire, I was still justifying, well, you know what, I'm good enough. You know what, even if I see people, they barely have anything, I barely pay their bills. You know what, I have enough. I don't really, you know what, I'm good. We're lying to ourselves. The truth is that we're here to serve. We're here to serve our clients. So what is enough? Would I stop at helping 10 people? Would I stop at helping 100 people? Would I stop at helping 1 million people? Right? Like, if it's all possible and we all have 24 hours in the day, why would I not want prosperity? Why would I not want abundance in a team and in the support and in beautiful things to help me thrive? Why would I not want all that so I can help exponentially the amount of people? So that was keeping me broke and keeping me back from my good. You know, divine and the universe and God, whatever you want to call it, right? It's like there's not a big enough, we couldn't even have a big enough of a consciousness for the abundance and omnipotence and all the lavishness that we truly are. So these 7 things were really truly holding me back from myself. These things were keeping me broke, right? Number 1, going back over it, I was hobby coaching. I would say I'm a coach when I didn't even have clients, right? I was lying to myself when I needed to really get radically honest and brutally honest with myself. Like, what was going to happen if I kept hobby coaching? Was I going to have to go get a job? I was fearing it. Like, man, am I being delusional? I'm going to go work for somebody else. I'm going to have to give up my pipe dreams, right? Number 2, I was 80% coaching. I was doing all the things that were keeping me busy and doing none of the things that were actually getting results. I would scroll through social media. I'd find myself, taking the next free course. I would do whatever it was, keeping busy, not actually doing what would get me results, right? Not even hiring coaches, which would take me 10 times longer to just scroll through all the information, right? The third one, I was what's called a preaching coach. I was giving everybody advice, analyzing everybody, judging everybody, telling them all what they should be doing, but I actually wasn't doing it myself. And what was really going to get me to embody getting clients would be the embodiment. People want to work with people that they're like, whoa, their consciousness and who they are is powerful. I need to work with them. If you're just preaching, but they can see your life. They see, I remember doing that. I remember being in codependent relationships and texting and saying things to my partner and pretending like I was a coach. Like, I needed to embody the work in order to become somebody that was the mental equivalent and a vibrational match of actually being a powerful coach and having people want to pay me for my services, right? Number 4 is a coupon coach, meaning I kept attending all these free things, knowing how the universe works. And what we truly want, we have to embody. So if you want high-paying clients, you've got to be willing to pay for high-level coaching. It just is part of our industry. I don't know one coach in the industry that doesn't have a coach. I don't know one successful coach that hasn't had and spent tons of hundreds of thousands of dollars. I've spent $250,000. I've spent decades developing myself, and I never have one regret. It's the one investment in myself that always gives back exponentially in its investment. Number 5 was I was an informational coach. I essentially collected information, and it's like learning how to, drive a motor vehicle without getting behind the wheel. You're getting all this information. You can write a textbook on how to drive, but until you get behind the wheel, you're never going to start learning. We call it fail fast. You want to fail because you can't learn, you can't pivot, you can't grow, you can't do any of that without trying. So the best way to learn is to try and do it and learn it and be in it, in the thick of it. Nobody wants information. They need transformation. And the only way to get transformation is to dive deep into the soul, deep into the subconscious, deep into the processes, right? Number 6 is I was a fearful coach. I would sabotage myself and without trying to I was afraid of actually getting clients because I didn't have a framework. I didn't know if I'd actually be able to help them. I didn't know if I was actually going to be able to get them radical results, right? You need to be able to, somebody has a profound framework, whether you come in and you get really clear of what the framework is by actually diving into the coaching, self-processing, or really formulating that through your clients, or whether you come in and get certified in our framework, which is like literally, I think we have the best framework in the industry, is powerful, deep, trauma healing, trauma informing, subconscious reprogramming, universal law, truth triangle, badass framework. No question about it. Okay. You've got to be a confident coach that absolutely knows you can get radical results. Number 7 is I was a justifying coach, which meant I had maybe, when I started getting maybe a couple clients, I was like, oh, I'm good. You know what? I'm doing this thing. It's all good. I'm just going to kind of plow along. And maybe 20 years from now, I'll become successful, right? Like I was lying to myself. Let's just face the fact. I was settling. I was thinking, I'm not really worthy of greatness. This is good enough. I'll take the crumbs over here, right? I didn't like sales. I thought it was creepy. So I thought if I was justifying not having to do sales, I was justifying thinking, I'm just going to let it organically happen. When organically, it's fine. But there's this beautiful thing that's called leadership. There's this beautiful thing of helping people get clear. There's this beautiful thing of helping people get committed to their dreams. And knowing that if they can't afford to not work with me, I know that. I sleep very well at night, right? I'm able to know that I give exponentially more than I charge for anything in our programs. So the truth is, I was shortcutting. The thing that was sabotaging my success, that was keeping me broke, is I was trying to shortcut it instead of embodying the work. The missing link was deep transformation, consciousness, trauma work to fully be embodied and have a proven business framework. Okay. So there's 2 main things that you've got to have to no longer shortcut. You've got to get fully committed. You've got to be willing to really let go of the money story and get out of your comfort zone. You've got to get committed. So time is not an issue, because it's never about time. It's about commitment, right? And you have to let go of needing more information to be able to make that decision. You need to have enough to say, you know what, it's either a yes or it's a no. And I don't have all the information. I don't know all the details. I don't know all the how, but what I know is that I've got to get radical in what I'm up to, right? So fully embodying. And sometimes people go, well, I'm overwhelmed. There's just too many information. I don't know how to make a decision. And guess what? Overwhelm is another excuse. If you don't want to be overwhelmed, you've got to learn how to master your mind, because life is always going to be overwhelming. You are always going to have problems. You're always going to have, things to go through, because we're in a master class. The only way to overcome being overwhelmed is to master your mind, to be able to know how to keep it in gratitude, to know how to go into when there's emotions, to transform it, to all these things. And that's what we teach. That's the profound work that we teach. We have all the tools you need at any point in time, and you're overwhelmed at any point in your life, whether it be in your relationship, whether it be in your money, whether it be in making decisions of your purpose and calling. You can't analyze it anymore. You can't figure it out logically. You've got to get in and do the deep embodiment work. And in this, I know you absolutely can massively monetize. You absolutely can become somebody who's a master in consciousness. You absolutely can be full embodiment. And we know that we can't guarantee the monetization, because we can lead the horse to the water, but we can't have the horse necessarily drink the water. But what I know for sure is that if you implement everything that we teach in New Thought Global and Society, in our, certification programs and all that, that we guarantee our work, in that if you implement everything and you don't get results, we guarantee it, you'll have me for life. Okay. Because that means something's wrong with the program. So in this, I'm just knowing the truth of prosperity, and you turning your love for spirituality into you being a leader, whether you're monetizing it in a career and business, or whether you just take it out being a leader for your friends and family, and whatever, or just being your own, your own best friend, for you to be your own number 1 coach, whatever that is. I'm just saying yes to you. I'm saying yes to all of it. And if you're listening to this, I invite you to take bold action and come into one of our programs. This is coming out on Sunday, right after the 5-day challenge. And we actually have the doors open till tomorrow night at midnight on Monday. And I invite you. This is actually going to be the last time I'm teaching this live every week. I will be teaching it live forever, but it will be monthly intensives instead of weekly. And you will have all the live coaching calls with all of our incredible leaders. You will have tons of content. You're going to have just the cell processing, all the E4 trauma method work, all the truth triangle work. You're going to have all of the business skill set, the most trusted and proven system for you to take whatever it is out of that, for you to have the best life, for you to truly become the highest version of yourself. And so I say yes to you. I say yes to you. And I'm so clear. I'm so confident in who we are. I'm so confident to know that we have literally, in my opinion, the best coaching school in the world, because we have the best teachings, which are metaphysics, which is the truth of how you are the creator. You are spirit. You are creating. And through your subconscious mind, your just job is to get the weeds, all those traumas, all those limited beliefs out of the way, and be able to absolutely demonstrate your highest version, become the powerful creator that you already are, release and know, understand universal law for you to truly be able and have the best, most supportive community and people who are going to hold you in truth. Stop sitting around with your friends complaining and talking about all the problems of the world, and begin to absolutely get your mind right, focus on what you are committed to, and exponentially create in your prosperity, in your vitality, and in your love. And so I say yes. You can go below this. There'll probably be notes. You can come on in there. Come on, and all in my bio link will also be the landing page for it closing for tomorrow night. Have a beautiful, blessed day, and may you live your truth.